I appreciate you joining us today.
My pleasure.
What are the key attributes of a modern leader?
Well, it's an interesting question, Todd, because leaders are placed in so many different situations, and I think they need to adjust their leadership style to those situations. But certainly things that are applicable across all situations are grasping the entire situation, being a systems thinker. I really think is very important, because that allows a leader to understand the entire situation, the things that might influence certain aspects of a decision that has to be made, and it really gives the people who are following the leader confidence that the leader understands the entire situation. So being a systems thinker, I think, is extremely important. Being positive, not being a pessimist, I think it's an important aspect of leadership. I think you lend confidence to your team when you do that, and you may be confident in yourself, but being positive around the whole situation, I think lends that ability to the team as well as yourself. So systems thinker, being confident, and obviously having a grasp of whatever situation that you're placed in, and the ability to understand all the implications of a decision that you're going to make.
What was the circumstance that made you become a leader?
Well, another interesting question. Starting as an engineer, I was very focused on my technical abilities and my technical assignments, but it became obvious to me at a very early time in my career that to do bigger and more important projects, one really needed to be in a leadership position to direct teams to do bigger things. You can only accomplish so much as an individual, but leading a team, you can accomplish so much more. So really pushing myself beyond the envelope of just what I could accomplish myself gave me the desire to lead teams.
What are the 3 challenges for a leader today?
Well, in today's world, obviously, things are affected by virtual teams or globalization. So I think one challenge that every leader has to be up to is the ability to work with virtual teams and understand the different implications of cultures of those teams. You're constantly dealing with people from different backgrounds, and to really accomplish the things that need to be accomplished as a team, you need to understand all those implications. I think another challenge today is the ability to move quickly. We hear all about agile or being nimble. Certainly those are important. One needs to balance that with making sure you've got enough information to make good decisions, as well as making quick decisions. And I think finally the other challenge is remaining in a state that you're still giving personal attention to everyone that you're dealing with, whether they're on your team, whether they're your client that you're dealing with, but taking that step back and understanding that personal relationships are extremely important.
Are having goals important to achievement in career development?
I've found in my personal situation that it was a good thing to do. So for my personal situation growing out through my career, it really helped me to have certain goals set in sight. So the goal of being a leader, which in my career in IBM meant becoming the manager of a team, that was a goal that I had set. I had to set a long-term goal of being in a leadership position that would affect a major business unit inside the company. So I did many steps along the way to get to that ultimate goal. So I think it's extremely important not only to have short-term goals, but to really have a vision of where you want to take your entire career.
How important is it to gain international experience?
Relating back to a discussion we had a little bit earlier, I think it's extremely important, because one of the biggest challenges a leader has to face today is how to deal with the implications of globalization and international experience. I think we will all be placed these days in a situation where we're going to be working with virtual teams or clients in other countries. And I think without having that experience, without growing up with that experience, it's difficult to leverage all the important things you need to understand to have the right conversations, to make the right types of decisions that deal with different people from different cultures and different backgrounds.
Is it important to have mentors and coaches in your life?
I think it's very important to have a mentor. That was one of the mistakes I made as a young engineer. I did not seek out a mentor early enough, and I think it was a failing in my own career that kind of held my advancement back just a little bit. I think it's important not only for young people but experienced people to have mentors, because there's always an aspect of your career or your job that you can learn more at, and whether it's learning the technical aspects of a job, or whether it's learning how to be a good leader, or whether it's learning management techniques, we can always look to people who have a little bit more experience in that particular area, and we can definitely gain from their experience.
How important is personal relationships to building a profile?
I think people will find as they go through their career that relationships are extremely important in many ways. First of all, we discussed mentoring earlier, but a mentoring relationship is extremely important to learn how to grow in certain aspects of your career. The networking relationships that you establish can easily help you find additional opportunities and other jobs. And then just the relationships that you have with your clients or whoever your customers are allows you to understand their point of view even more, so that you get a better handle on the entire situation of whatever aspect of the business that you're in.
What is the secret to working in virtual teams?
Well, I'm not sure there's a lot of secrets actually, Todd, but things to be sensitive to, I think, especially are one, especially if you're dealing with virtual teams from different countries and different cultures, the very first thing is to have effective communication. You need to understand the cultural background of whomever you're speaking to, either during a conference call or maybe a video conference, or just corresponding with somebody, because the way they perceive and receive the information that you're trying to communicate is always influenced by whatever their cultural background is. So that's really, to me, one of the most important things you have to think about. The other thing to remember about virtual teams is communication is paramount, and effective communication is really the most important thing. So you obviously have to be a good listener. Make sure that you understand what's coming from the other end of the virtual team, and then when you do communicate, you need to be sure that you communicate crisply and clearly, again, understanding who's at the receiving end of whatever communication that you have.
What advice would you give to an aspiring leader?
Well, I think, again, it would probably be situational dependent, but one of the most important things, I think, assuming that the leader is leading some team of people, is to make sure that first and foremost they understand the needs, the wants, and desires of the people that they will be leading. Without understanding the people that you've got responsibility to shepherd, it's really impossible to give them the kind of leadership that they need. I think once you understand that, make sure that the people who you're leading have the right tools that they need to do whatever job it is that you're asking them to do. Everything will fall into place after that, because you'll instill confidence in them that you're doing the right things for their career, as well as doing the right things to prepare them to get the job done.
Thank you very much for your time.
Todd, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.